a lot of these kids don't know how.
She posted that video more than
We've seen that, or I think I have it up coming up later.
a billion people have seen it, Hannah, probably more by the time we're on this morning. Why did you post that video?
So I taught for 3 years, as I said in my video. I wasn't always a teacher. I actually started my career in digital marketing. So I've been in the digital world for about 5 years now, or since I've graduated. And throughout the 3 years, I've taught digital arts classes and I've taught an English class. And I would say that in all of my teaching experience, technology has posed quite a challenge. And with AI becoming so accessible to children nowadays, especially teaching in an English or Core 4 classroom, it's been especially challenging kind of to have the kids comprehend and critical think and think for themselves on certain things.
Yeah.
So on my way out, I wanted to kind of raise awareness and just let people know how AI and technology is affecting their children these days.
Right. I know, coming from a mother who taught for 33 years, my sister's a teacher in South Carolina, the challenges that y'all deal with, this is even before AI was a thing. I'm sure it's even more challenging now, and clearly your opinion is, yes, it is. You're a high school teacher. I'm sure your students loved you. We hate to see someone leave education because of problems within the classroom. Give me some examples of what the students are saying to you.
Well, a lot of students, and I do want to be clear, I taught a lot of very motivated and bright children. And so I don't want this to come off as if this is all the kids' fault. But I do know that a lot of times in my English classroom, I would ask them to write down a short response or just 5 sentences to answer a question. And a lot of times it would be about 2.5 sentences and they would say, well, I can't think of anything else to say, or, well, why do I have to answer in complete sentences? Like, you get the point from what I'm saying in just this little sentence. And then a lot of times I would assign essays, long form essays, and I know how children write, especially when they handwrite me things in the beginning of the school year. And so when a student, how I know how they write typically, would give me a very eloquently and thorough essay on a topic that I know that normally wouldn't come from them, I would ask them, was this really you? And I run it through an AI generator, and of course it would say 100% ChatGPT or AI. And I would speak to the student and they would more so question of, well, if I have to redo this, how much is it really going to affect my grade? Can I just take the 0?
Gosh, trying to take the easy way out. Yeah.
Right.
Is it promoting just a laziness among our children?
I suppose, and a lot of them are just feeling as though they don't really need to do the work anymore because AI will just do it for them.
Right.
And I think that AI can be in a classroom in a very effective way if we teach children in the older grades how to use it properly.
Yeah, that's a scary statement, isn't it? But, you know, hey, that's what that dirty devil wants to use it for. It's going to be major control. It's already dumbing people down. The iPads have officially destroyed Gen Alpha. Actually, I'll move on. One of these has got some good clips I wanted to share. Here it is.
I used to be a high school teacher. Here's the single biggest reason why I decided that I couldn't be a teacher anymore.
It is absolutely astonishing and scary.
There's no accountability for teachers, and there's no accountability for parents. Students can pretty much do whatever they want. They got the freedom to be late to class every single day. They can roam around the hallways every single day and not go to class. They cannot do their assignments. They can be disruptive, and there's no repercussions. There's no accountability. And the worst part is it's not really even the student's fault. You can't really blame them because the system is not holding them accountable. Now, there are some schools that have great administration, and they're trying super hard, and they're doing many things to improve the system and to make it better. But most schools, there's no accountability going on. I think you would be shocked if you were to go into school and see what was happening. And if you try to talk to parents, there's a very select few that actually help with it. But the vast majority, they either don't know what to do or they're just completely helpless and they enable it. And there's so many bad teachers that shouldn't be teaching, but there's nobody that's holding them accountable or doing anything about it. And this is coming from a teacher that had great classroom management. Yes, I had some disruptive kids that were hard to keep them focused, and that's normal. But the vast majority of the issues that I experienced was because there's no accountability. There's nothing you can do. You can try to hold students accountable, and they're shocked by it because they're not used to it. That's
talking about that has to do with, let me just give you an example. Okay, so I'm sitting in front of the class and I say, all right, guys, students, scholars, whatever it is the teacher calls your kids, take out your yellow notebooks, turn to page 14, and the kids just stare. Like, they don't even move.
The dumbing down.
Some of them don't even move. Some of them start moving around. It's like, I know I'm supposed to be doing something because she's still staring at me, but I don't know.
That's
and then
scary.
they raise their hand and say, do you want us to take out our notebooks? That's a real question. Yes. Okay, so then some of the other students start taking out their notebooks while the others are still just staring. And then when they take out their notebooks, someone else says, what page? What page do you want us to turn to? Okay, turn to page 17. So then some of them start taking out their notebooks and turning pages. By now, some of the ones who are still staring are now like trying to reach in to take their notebooks out.
Okay, so at least for me, I am not a patient person, so I really don't know how these teachers deal with this. I would lose it. We could go over to the comment section. Too much technology and too little parenting. Something is wrong deeply.
This is Zach. I'll show you his channel in a little bit.
Witnessed firsthand
It's a good
what
clip.
we're up against as high school teachers, like when it comes to AI and ChatGPT and all that. They were taking a quiz on their Chromebooks, and so I was like monitoring their screens on my computer. This one kid had finished his quiz and he was working on work from another class, and I'm watching him, and he copy and paste whatever short answer prompt there was for this class assignment, puts it in a Gemini, it spits out an answer, and then he says, rewrite this, including spelling mistakes and grammatical errors commonly made by high schoolers.
Nuh-uh.
And it spit out, a whole new answer or whatever, and then he pasted it onto the assignment, and he was done.
As a high school teacher, I've gone back to paper and pencil. I'm done with computers. I don't send homework home anymore. I need to see them doing the work with their brain.
Do you honestly believe that these teachers are quitting their job 2 weeks into the school year because they're not getting paid enough, or because the politics that they're dealing with from outside of the classroom is too much to handle? No, that's not the reason. The reason why they're quitting is because these kids are mean, and they're making the classroom a war zone, and they're getting zero support from parents at home and from admin on their campus. This 100% stems from the stuff that they have to deal with day in and day out from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. inside their classroom. It's the stuff that you have to deal with inside your classroom that makes you burn out and makes you never want to come back.
All right, I'll go ahead and stop there, and you can go check out the rest at Zach V2 YouTube channel if you'd like. It's a good collection he got there.
Dude, everyone is so fucking embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. My generation is so fucking stupid. Like, you guys can't use your brains for any. You can't count. You can't read. You can't write. You can't use your own emotional logic to figure out why you're supposed to feel a certain way. You're using AI to help you out with fucking everything. Using AI to text back. Using AI to draw. Using AI to do your homework. Using AI to write. Oh, you're a fucking idiot. My friend went to the fucking, she went to the Halloween store, and the bitch couldn't figure out what 50 plus 3 $20 bills was. I saw a shorty on my For You page talking about how am I supposed to write 5 paragraphs in an hour. That's 60 sentences. You can't write 5 paragraphs in an hour? Why not? Nobody reads anymore. The amount of people that I hear or I come across that say, oh, I haven't picked up a book since high school. Oh, your attention spans are fried. You don't know how to use critical thinking. It's a whole bunch of whataboutism and the bean soup shit. Like, just think for a second. Just for a second. Y'all are using words improperly. You stealing phrases from cultures and then dragging it to hell because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. No one can just be themselves anymore. They have to be a copy and paste of every other bitch they see, every other nigga they come across. Ah! And then when you are intelligent, when you do have emotional intelligence, when you do have your own personality, when you are creative, you get looked down upon. You're called a loser. You're called weird. People say you're doing too much. I'm not doing too much. I'm doing the regular amount of like being a human being, and you guys are just fucking idiots. Do you get that? Do you get that you're a fucking idiot? Nobody knows how to drive. Nobody has any common decency. Nobody wants to tip. Everyone wants EBT taken away.
All right, I'll stop there. mostly with it, man, I just wish people weren't constantly cursing. Again, I'm not no little angel with my language all
People
the time,
can't.
but it's just when it's every other word, and it's over and over, and you still have a few minutes to go. It's just like, oh, dude, you know. And it's unfortunate because I could get with the rant. You know, she was hitting some solid points. Check out what this young man has to say.
Read anymore. That's bad. That's really bad. And when I say can't read, I mean a level of illiteracy that is that of like a third grader. Not that they can't read a stop sign or, you know, they're scrolling on their phone. They're able to read comments and all this other shit. But it's like kids today and people today have reading levels far below what par is for their grade, right? Like people are stupid now. And it's like, oh my God, this is a problem. Like the future generations of people that are like Gen Alpha kids can't fucking read. And it's like, that's true of like a large portion of like American adults now, but it's like that percentage of people that have like reading levels of that of a 9-year-old is like increasing more and more to where like I'm worried of like how the fuck, well, like what college students are going to look like 20 years from now. Like, are they actually going to be trying or are they going to be cheating on everything? And I think like what teachers say specifically through what I've like looked into online is that the gap, not just like we're going to get into wealth inequality gap soon. I think that's a problem. But the gap of intelligence between students has risen more and more and more.
Good point, sir. Thanks. Normalize philosophy is his TikTok.
I feel like I needed to rant about this because of something that just happened, something that I kind of see a lot of the time as a family photographer. And I don't know if if we're taking it seriously enough. So like I was saying, I'm a family photographer over at a studio that I absolutely love and adore, and we serve a lot of different kinds of families. Some of those families include parents with younger kids, younger boys. And there has been an influx recently on little boys who will come through and just have the most disrespectful, nasty freaking behavior. It happens with the girls too, but something about it with the boys is just feels like from a place of like they need to be in authority. They need to be in charge of the entire thing. It's really weird. So I just had this mom come in, this single mom with this 5-year-old boy, and I was like, okay, this is just gonna be a typical session of me working with a kid and whatever. And so I'm getting ready, prepped in my room, and he pokes his little head in and is like, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm getting ready for your session. I said, I'm gonna come and grab you guys in just 1 second, okay? And he goes, what are you gonna do to us in here? I was like, okay, weird phrasing, but I said, we're gonna take some pictures. And he just stares at me and closes the door and walks away. I'm like, okay, weird, where's your mother, first of all? So I invite them in and I introduce myself and kind of tell them what to expect and what we're gonna be doing. And in our room, there's something called an infinity wall. It's basically a curved piece of a wall that makes the wall look like it goes on for forever, right? And the thing about that infinity wall is that it's like a really tough plaster. However, your foot could go through it if you like step really hard on it or if you jump on it. So we just tell everybody, especially kids, please don't run and play on it. Please don't step on it. Not only do we not want it to break, we also just don't want to get footprints on there because it's something for my editors to have to edit out that they just shouldn't have to do. It's like completely preventable, right? First thing this kid does is goes and runs to that back wall and stops right when I'm about to like, whoa, hang on. Like, okay, please don't run and play on that wall. Mom couldn't care less that he's running and playing on it, right? There's nothing going on behind her eyes. So I remind him like, hey, just letting you know, like, this is why we don't do this. It's just not safe to do that. And he goes, oh, no. I'm just going to do it really soft. I said, no, thank you. We're not going to be doing that. So then mom steps in and is like, no, because if it breaks, mom has to pay for it. I'm like, yeah, that's why. Also, just because the adult said, no, thank you. Maybe should be enough of a reason. So we start with the session. Kid just kind of like fights me a little bit on posing or fights me a little bit on like the pieces that we're using. And usually I give a lot of like leeway to families and stuff like that for things that they want. And like maybe they want a certain piece of furniture or a certain color and whatnot. I give a lot of freedom to that. But this kid was just like, I don't want that. I'm like, we're going to do it anyway. Sorry. Again, mom, no opinions, nothing. So we get him posed and I take about 5 photos and he goes, all done on that one. And I'm like, okay. Sure, I got 5 different faces on that one. Sure, we can move on, kid. We're gonna do about 4 of you and your mom together, and then we'll move on to doing just you. So sure, why not? So he gets up and he comes over to me and starts rummaging in a shelf that I have that has like squeaky toys and duck calls and stuff like that. It's like tucked away. It's not very accessible to the most part unless you're a kid, you're a 5-year-old going in there and grabbing it. And that happens sometimes. So I'm like, that's typical. He's curious of what's over there, right? So he grabs a turkey call and he's like, what is this? I go, well, it's a turkey call. It's for dogs. I try to get their ears up and then looking at me and stuff like that. And he goes, oh, okay. And he kind of looks at me and I'm like, you can press it one time. And then we have to go take another photo, okay? He goes, oh, okay. And then he like hands it to me and so I press it and it goes off. And then I'm like, you can try it now if you want. He presses it, it goes off. And we're like, oh yeah, that's really cool, right? And he goes, oh, okay, so I think I need this next time I go turkey hunting. And go, oh yeah, maybe you can get one. And he goes, no, I'm gonna take that. I said, no, we're gonna leave it here. Like, we have to keep it here for the dogs. So I put it up on a shelf. So he goes on over and takes another photo, and then he comes back and he comes up to me and he goes, can you just like close your eyes and shh for a second? And just to be in a position where you have to like be taken aback by a kid's behavior is really sad, because you're like, no, you're a cute kid. You're a kid who's like who did this to you? And being in a position now where I get to see the entire family, you see where it stems from. You see it stems from the parent who doesn't tell their child no, ever. You see it from...
Yep, that seems to be a continuing theme. Man, just that image of that little girl carrying that huge sack of potato chips and watching that screen. Just another one, a reminder of just, really the crazy world we're in, Because most people don't question this thing we call Biden. There's so many. There were different types. Remember that one video where they caught, it looked like one of these Bidens walking out to his car after some kind of a stadium thing or something? I mean, no security. That was one of those some years ago. Man, there's so many just weird ones with him. So, but just another example of kind of the dumbing down. People don't think about it. Most people don't. Or they'll think you crazy if you say something about it. Or even the whole Obama and his, in quotes, wife. That whole situation has been around for years, but more and more people are questioning it and getting it now, which is good. But just a few examples of it. But, we're living in really a crazy-ass world.
Do y'all notice that our technology's...
Constant ops. Again, man, that's why you've got to have Jesus, have the Holy Spirit in these days. You got to draw from that wisdom at all times. Here's a good rant from this young lady.
kind of going backwards. Like, think about it. When I was a kid, we had TV that had commercials that you couldn't fast forward to. Then we got DVRs. Do y'all notice that our technology is kind of going backwards? Like, think about it. When I was a kid, we had TV that had commercials that you couldn't fast forward to. Then we got DVRs, and then you could fast forward through all your commercials. Then we got streaming services that didn't have commercials. Now, our streaming services have commercials, and most of the time, you can't even fast forward through them. Not to mention, we quit using mail because it became all junk mail, and then we went to email. Now nobody uses their email because it's all junk mail, unless you have it for work. Then you have to use your email and just sort through all the junk mail. And landlines. Nobody uses their landline anymore once cell phones came into existence because it was all marketing calls. Now, all your cell phone is spam calls. So everybody went to texting. Nobody calls anymore. I think our technology is actually going backwards. It's just as inconvenient as all of the things we ran away from in the 90s.
Really good points. Really good. Nothing new under the sun. Here's the clip from this young lady here, teacher.
Click a button and have something read out loud to them.
Check some of this out.
In seconds. Their attention spans are weaning because everything is high stimulation. They can just scroll, watch less than a minute. They can't sit still for very long. Something I've realized is, like, on a day, I know when I was their age, I thought movie days were a treat. I loved movie days. It was a way to relax, kind of take a break. And for them, what they mean when they say they want a movie is they want a movie on in the background for the noise while they scroll on their phones, put their headphones in and look at TikTok and maybe talk to their friends and not pay attention to anything. Whenever I do have a movie day, I can count on one hand the amount of students in all 3 classes that I teach throughout the day who maybe actually pay attention to the movie. It's frustrating and it's disheartening because if I ask a child to handwrite something, even just a paragraph, 5 sentences, basic paragraph, they roll their eyes, they throw tantrums, I'm talking about high schoolers. I teach 10th grade now. They get really, really unruly, and because I'm young too, they want to argue with me about it, and they want to say, why can't we just type it? Why can't we just type it? Well, it's because you'll go on another website, or you'll copy it, or use AI, you'll use ChatGPT. And I understand that our world is going in a direction where AI is going to be more prevalent, even in the workforce someday. That still doesn't take away that these are basic skills you need to survive. I think I am technically considered an older Gen Z. So I'm a 99 baby. I was born on the cusp, I think. I don't actually know the cutoff, but I do think I am mostly a Gen Z. And I think I grew up in a time when history was still important. Learning what the Declaration of Independence was still important. Knowing how to understand the amendments, and I'm bringing up history because this is stuff that I feel like every American needs to understand the value of. And if you can't
We've really crossed over into a dangerous zone right now with the young
read,
ones.
and if you don't care to read or learn the vocabulary or learn your context clues, you're never going to understand it, and therefore it's never going to mean anything to you, and you're never going to have real opinions and be able to understand and formulate why laws and certain governing structures make sense, and why we have the right to vote, why this stuff is important. And I just don't think these kids even care. They don't care about making a difference in the world. They don't care about how to have a resume. They don't care how to write a resume. They don't care how to write a cover letter, because ChatGPT will just do it for them. And I think that we need to cut off technology from these kids,
right?
Probably until they go to college. Call me old-fashioned. I will be old-fashioned, but we are at the point where I really don't have a lot of faith in some of these kids that I teach.
All right, thanks, lady. You're not the only one. We've heard it from others. Trust in Jesus. When I start seeing this, always run back to Jesus. All right, check this out from this young man.
They want American kids to rot in hell, but they want their kids to grow up with the ability to focus. And it's the same thing with the tech guys in Silicon Valley. They don't let their kids use this stuff. They make their nannies sign contracts that they will not let the kid have a phone. They will not expose the kid to that. They send their kids to schools like the Waldorf school precisely because there are no computers or tech in the classroom. So once again, we see their revealed behavior. They know they designed it to be addictive. They know it's addictive. They don't let their kids use it. They want American kids to rot in hell. But
isn't that something? We've seen that information before through a different source, but still, it's a good reminder.
No way.
Millions are losing interest in everything. I'll move on past that.
Material that is at their level.
Okay, so I got a few clips on here from the teachers. Let's check this out.
Okay? I gamified it. And when I tell you that my principal came in, okay, after we had done the game and they're doing the quiz, and I have a CC class, so I have my gen ed students just going to town. She was like, oh my gosh, they're powering through this quiz. It looks like they really know it. Where's the rest of your class? I'm like, they're across the hall. Okay, they need to have test accommodations, so they're in another classroom. So she goes to that class with the students who were in here for the game. And she comes back 60 seconds later saying, Miss D, they are a hot mess. They keep asking me, since the X repeats, is it a function? And I don't know what they're asking. So I'm gonna stay over here with these kids. I need you to go across the hall with your CC teacher and answer those questions. They can use a calculator, they can use their notes, they can ask questions, they can have class discussion over there. All of that is test accommodations that we are doing for them. And they did not know, even though we just went over it 5 minutes before they went over to the quiz. They did not know. But let me tell you, I give them typed notes. Let me show you, because
So I made a video about teachers quitting mid-year, and I have a lot of people in my comments giving me pushback who I don't think have ever been teachers. So I want to explain a few things.